Good morning, my students. Today's lesson is about the 1920s, the so-called Roaring Twenties in the USA. World War I was a time of sacrifice for a lot of Americans. So when the conflict ended in 1918, they wanted to forget the past. They wanted to relax and enjoy. It was a period called the Roaring Twenties because of the sense of excitement and fun and change. It is also known today as the Jazz Age. The Jazz Age describes life in America during the period between 1918 and 1929, the years between the First World War and the start of the Great Depression. And the name was invented by an American writer, Fitzgerald, who used it in books to describe the decadence and hedonism of those times. So, Americans went wild over the invention of the radio and the talking picture cinema, and also became crazy about Broadway in 1926. So radio stations were set up everywhere to broadcast jazz, blues and ragtime, and many people seem to be unconcerned about the future. They invented new ways of dressing, new words, new kinds of games, and business expanded, and cars were produced on a mass scale, which changed the way Americans worked, lived, and relaxed. Okay, another important point is that the Roaring Twenties were a period in which this change brought to the so-called consumer society, because people from coast to coast bought the same goods, thanks to the nationwide advertising, the spread of chain stores. And they also listened to the same music. So it is also called the Jazz Age for this reason. Another important point is that during the 1920s, many Americans had extra money to spend, and they spent it on consumer goods such as ready-to-wear clothes, but also home appliances like refrigerators, so fridges. In particular, as we said before, they bought radios. The most important consumer product of the 1920s was the car, because low prices allowed people to buy the so-called Model T, and it cost just $260 in 1924. So many families could afford to buy the Model T. In 1929, there was one car on the road for every 5 Americans. So meanwhile, an economy of automobiles, of cars, was born. So business like service stations and models sprang up to meet drivers' nations. Okay, I suggest you to repeat this part and try to record your voice so that you can study better, trying to memorizing the key points of this part.